And everybody gets into this industry for different reasons, right?
Yes.
Some want to just make some money, or they're thinking about another career and it's a bridge or whatever. I really wanted it to work. I had to justify quitting law school to my parents, and so I hated it so bad that it was my inspiration that my goal is to make enough money to say, see, it worked out.
Welcome back to the CA Power Players Podcast, live every Tuesday, 8 a.m. CST. I've got a special guest, man. I love this guy. He's absolutely changing the health insurance world and helping a ton of agents along the way out of Oklahoma. The managing partner of American Trustee. Please welcome to the Power Players Podcast and the channel, William Allison.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, I'm excited, man. How long have you been in the space?
31 years.
31 years. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're listening to this, watching this, I can tell you this. There's a lot of people you can learn from. This dude's doing it 31 years, man. That's a long. I think you literally started the year after my dad, right?
I got my license in college in the 80s. I really went full-time after I got out of college in 1991, after I bummed around with a couple of jobs that weren't too exciting. So, awesome. I went full-time really in 1991.
Yeah. How did you end up in insurance? Did you wake up and grow up and be like, dude, I got to sell insurance, man?
Well, my whole family has been in the industry. My father was a life insurance executive and chartered 2 life insurance companies, one right there in Springfield back in 1960. And, he was my mentor. I looked up to my dad. He was my, my Superman, that's who I followed, like a lot of kids, and he had a lot of success. I just really, like a lot of people, went to college. I got interested in insurance in college. I took a course that was taught. A buddy of mine took this course on risk management, and the lady that thought it was super, she owned a local agency, and she did a great job, and it got me interested. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to really become an insurance agent, but I went and got my license because I'd learned all this stuff, and it was just kind of a natural, thing to go ahead and get it. I'd already studied for it, and I got out of college at about the worst time in 1988 when the oil boom had gone bust here in Oklahoma, and just everything was closing shop. Businesses were just in really bad shape. A lot of employers were laying off. People were leaving town, going elsewhere. And so I got a government job straight out of college, which I hated, and I worked that for about 1.5 years. I went to law school for a year. I hated that even worse. I thought it was a great idea at the time, but I just hated reading and studying all the time. I felt like I was more of an extrovert, and I wanted to be around people, and I wanted to be talking to people, not reading books, and it just didn't inspire me, I guess.
Yes. You're also just, you have a great personality. If you guys listening and watching ever get a chance to talk to William, he's a good dude, man. A great, big heart, cares about people, awesome personality. As we look back, man, it's crazy. You make more money than a lot of lawyers now too, which is pretty special.
Yeah. I mean, I have no regrets. I mean, I wondered there for a few years as I kind of got into the insurance industry, and like most people, there were ups and downs and struggles. And, but I worked for a good company, but I met my wife in 92 and we got married. And we met at an insurance convention of all things. And so, but she could sell better than I could. I could manage, but she could sell better than I could. So I learned a lot from her, just watching her, because she was breaking all these sales records.
Why was she better?
She was better at understanding that cold calling was maybe a necessary thing, but the goal was to get away from that. And she would cold call and maybe write a policy, and she'd get referrals, and she would capitalize on those, or she would find somebody that had a policy in the community where we were working at the time, and she'd go drink coffee with them. She wouldn't even take in her sales material. She'd just go drink coffee with them and get names and go see those people. And I was like, well, that's not really the way we teach people. That's not our system. And she's like, yeah, she goes, "Where are you going to argue with these numbers?" And she showed me these annual checks that people were writing her, for these policies. I was like, "Oh my gosh," So
Wow.
anyway,
It worked. It worked.
Yeah, it worked very well.
Yeah. Talk through your first year, man. How was your first year? What did that look like? What did you sell? How much money did you make?
Oh, I think I was glad that I made the money I made at the time because, again, I couldn't find a job I probably made about 48, 49, maybe 50,000 that first year. But to me, my goal was if I could make $1,000 a week back then, that was 1991. That was, to me, a lot of money. It wasn't going to make me wealthy, but it proved to me that I could stay in the industry and make a career out of it.
That's probably two grand a week now. I mean, it's 31 years ago, right? So,
yeah, I was in the business 3 weeks. My manager, Ralph Neely, came to me and said, "Hey, you're doing fairly well. You're writing business, and we'd like to make you the manager of our team here." And I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing." And he goes, "Well, that's all right. Neither does our manager. So you'll be a natural. You'll do well." And he's like, "No," I guess. Look, he goes, "Really?" He said, "I know you're going to do well." He goes, "I can see it." And you didn't argue with Ralph. He was about 6'7" and had hands this big, and he'd played offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys back during the Landry years. So
there we go.
I looked up to him literally, but no, he was a great guy and inspired me. And he just passed away last year. Miss the guy, I love him.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but no, he was a great guy and really helped me along in my career.
Yeah,
my first year was challenging. I mean, it really was. The good thing is I was single. I didn't get married till the second year, but no, I mean, I really wanted it. And I think that that's a key thing today with agents entering the business. And everybody gets into this industry for different reasons, right?
yes.
Some want to just make some money, or they're thinking about another career and it's a bridge or whatever. I really wanted it to work. I had to justify quitting law school to my parents, and so I hated it so bad that it was my inspiration that my goal is to make enough money to say, "See, it worked out." And I think I did that.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been a great career.
What did you sell back then, and how did you get in front of people?
Yeah. Okay. So we sold individual cancer, accident, like heart attack policies. They were designed to be a supplement to people's health insurance back in those days. And these products are still around today, but they've changed some. But they were, health insurance was going up, and there was a need. People realized that typically they didn't have 20% covered on their health insurance, and that they had deductibles and things like that. But it was still difficult. We call on small businesses. It was cold calling. It was literally calling on businesses door to door. We'd have policy holders we could go see, and like my wife would get those referrals, or we would upgrade them. So there was a little bit of help there, but it was a lot of cold calling, and there wasn't technology back then like we have today. So it was a lot tougher. We didn't have all this outreach with Zoom or YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all those things. So it was tough.
Yeah. What were you good at? If you look back then, man, and what would you say? Okay, I was really good at this. Here's why I had some success. Here's what I learned.
I liked working with agents. And the reason I liked working with agents is I kind of could feel their, where they were in their career as far as getting started, how to learn this stuff. Because I had no sales experience really. I'd get all these audio tapes of Zig Ziglar or whoever I could listen to and try to do some self-study, which did help a lot. I learned how to talk to people about insurance, how to hesitate, modulate, voice inflection, and why those things were important. And to me, I think that's something that's missed a lot of times, even today with all this technology. We got millions of videos we could watch. And just tell you a real side note, I know I've mentioned this to you before, but when my son started a year ago and got his license, I was really busy. He came to me and he said, "Hey," he goes, "how do I figure out how to close people? I need to learn some techniques and how to do, introductions and position the product and all this stuff." And I said, "Well, that's simple." I said, "Go to YouTube and do a search for Cody Askins." I said, "This guy has a video on all of that stuff. I said, just pick the one you want. I said, there's plenty to watch. And we've got a new guy in the next room that just started, and we're telling him the same thing. So we didn't have those things back in the early 90s, but we have them now, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, thank you for mentioning that, buddy. I know it's been cool to get to know your son and you, and our relationship's growing, and we're doing more stuff together, having fun. And you're helping a lot of agents do well. And so it's cool to hear that you're bringing on new people too, because you did well as a new agent. You're constantly looking to help other agents now. You got agents that are doing really well, like their systems are flawless and phenomenal. What advice would you give for a new agent that's maybe watching right now? They're brand new, they're struggling, they're not on pace to make 50 grand. You know, what advice would you give?
I would ask them, why did you get in this business? And what was your motivating factor? You need to go back to that and figure out, why did you want to get your insurance license? Why did you want to get in this industry? Maybe you didn't want to work at a W-2 job any longer. Maybe you wanted freedom or independence. Those were all motivating factors for me. Yeah. You know, I think that helps. I think it's crucial that agents, and I think it's crucial not only for new agents, but for people who have been doing this a long time, to set goals. And, you know, again, that's something that people tend to not do a lot of anymore. But I would set goals and figure out what your burning desire is and what your passion is and what inspires you to get up and go to work. And to me, that's crucial. It may be your family, it may be your wife or kids, or, you know, wanting a better life or whatever. But I think that's crucial. Start there and set some goals. I broke a sales record my third year in the business with a team. I won the top manager of the year with this company, which was really difficult to win. And I got this 4-foot trophy, and I was on top of the world. But my boss came to me, Ralph came to me one summer, and he said, hey, you're number 2 in the company and as managers. And I was like, yeah, but I'm way behind number 1. And he goes, yeah, but he said, you're starting to come on. And he said, I think you could win. I said, they're way ahead. But he planted this seed in my mind, and he gave me this picture of the guy who'd won it the year before, holding this gigantic trophy. And I put it on my dashboard in my car. And I will tell you, that worked. I don't, maybe it's a psychological thing, but every time I got in and out of the car, or turned the radio on or whatever, I thought about it. And we won that award by like a handful of policies at the very end of the year. They didn't even know the total count to the convention I went to. And I saw them all come and, and talk to me, and I was like, oh man, this is either good or bad, but it was great. And I'm very proud of that to this day, because we kind of had a belief of never give up. And that was instilled in me is that no matter how tough it gets, never give up. And that really just stuck with me. And we did have some challenging times, again, those, in those days, we're doing a lot of recruiting, bringing on new agents, training them. A lot of them would, quit early, not get it, not understand it. For whatever reason, they didn't have the same commitment level. But,
yeah,
I really enjoyed working with those agents, and I'm still friends with a lot of them today, even after all these years.
That's really awesome. That's the case. I mean, if you think through that too, like there's a few notes I made. Also, for those that don't know William yet, like you're already hearing why he's so good at helping agents make money. And it's because he had experience doing it literally years ago when he first got in the space. Do you remember how many policies or how much you wrote that third year?
It was, we were averaging about 130 policies a week, about 120 to 130 in cancer policies and accident. Well, I had the vice president of the company was writing close to 1,000, I think, a week. It was incredible. It was a neat company.
That's insane. That's like 6,760 policies. That's so amazing and wild to look back and think about that, like that's crazy.
Yeah. And, when the slow times came later on, and, you reach this mountaintop and you're like, wow, man, I did it. And, that again, we had good agents. Some of them came and went, but when we hit kind of rough times along, over the years, there's been that's probably happened to me 3 or 4 times where you're like, golly, I'm so frustrated with this business. Maybe I should go do something else.
Yes.
And my wife and I'd talk about it, and I'd job hunt or whatever, and I'd tell her what they're paying, and she goes, well, God, that's nothing. I'll be like, yeah, I could sell 3 policies and make that. That's crazy. It's like, well, maybe you just need to recalibrate. Maybe you need to go about things a different way. Maybe you need to just, take a different angle at this. And I've done that probably 3 or 4 times throughout my career. And now, our focus is health insurance, and I love it, and probably won't change or do anything different. It's been a lot of fun, and I like it because we're helping people that just are totally clueless a lot of times about what to do about their health insurance.
Yeah, I mean, why health insurance, and how are y'all getting in front of people when you're selling health insurance?
To me, it's a booming and very explosive market because
it's got my attention more the last 6 months than ever before. Like, I've heard some stuff behind the scenes about how much it's growing, and I'm like, wait, health insurance? Like it's becoming super attractive.
Well, traditionally, agents kind of have it in their minds that life insurance pay high commissions and health insurance are low commissions, right? But we sell plans that are alternatives to the marketplace or Obamacare, that are private insurance plans that are underwritten, and they pay higher commissions. And we package those with supplements that pay higher commissions. And when you do that, you give people better coverage, and it allows the agent to do well. And, my personal opinion is I think it's an explosive market because it's a demand product. Okay. Mm-hmm. People have to have health insurance. I mean, yes, you can go without it, but it's financially kind of scary, right? Yes. So I think that really helps. And there's just a lot of confusion about it. Is there a penalty any longer? When can I sign up? Or, there's so many questions. You really become more of an advocate, more of, a teacher. And I love that because it's more consultative rather than, that hardcore sales approach. So that's one thing I really like about it. But we're doing a lot of things on, social media. Again, I'm a big believer, and I think technology is a blessing because we didn't have it when I started. So I really embrace it. So, Facebook, YouTube, all kind of the obvious things I think are really important. Instagram, LinkedIn is really great. I mean, I love LinkedIn. Yeah. And so we use all of those things. We use a lot of email marketing. Because you can, drop bulk email. It needs to be done the right way. If somebody's interested in doing that, I'll be glad to walk you back through it or help them with it. But
how's that work? Not specifically, but you're sending out email blasts to get people to respond, to talk to you about helping them with their health insurance in some way, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's cool. It's creative.
Yeah. And, as the headline and the title, the things you put in there, keywords are really important. We've got some 0 deductible plans, no pre-existing conditions excluded, things like that. We cover maternity on some things, on some plans. And so, we use some of those things to get people's attention. And it's all the outreach that someone can do is important. But what's so cool about technology is you can do it at such a low cost versus traditional advertising,
Correct. That's exactly right. And so, okay, email marketing, social media tech, and when you're driving leads, I also know that y'all do a good job with referrals. Why don't you talk through that piece from a prospecting standpoint?
That's really my favorite because there's literally no cost to it. Yes. I learned this from my father because back when he was selling insurance, there was no technology, and he taught me that relationship selling is the best selling you can do. And even though it's old school, we're in a people business. When you write someone coverage, they're putting their trust in you because insurance is a non-tangible service or product, however you want to look at it. And so they're putting their trust and confidence in you as an agent. And my personal feeling is the better the relationship is with that person, the better chances you have of selling them and keeping their business. And I think keeping their business is a lot of times forgotten. To do all that on a cold call is tough. You got to do a lot, and you got to be good.
Yeah.
And with referral selling or relationship selling, you don't even have to be that great of a salesperson. As long as you can build a rapport and make friends with people easily. I mean, you don't have to have all these fancy sales techniques, and it's easy. We get a lot of our business through P&C agencies, property and casualty agencies, because most of the time they don't really want to mess with health insurance. Not always, but I'd say, just guessing, 80% of the time, it's like, if we send them some business every once in a while for home or auto, which, that's not something we do, we're glad to do it, and they'll send us business. My son just wrote a group last week, and
that's awesome.
As I mentioned to you, previously, he started a year ago, and this is all he does. He hasn't made a cold call since January 1st, and he's on track to write probably about $700,000-800,000 of premium this year.
Wow! So that's how he's writing 700,000 without cold calling.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah, and when you talk to people, it's like the credibility is already established. They found out about you from another agent. Okay. And so like property and casualty agents, they insure a lot of businesses. Most of those are small businesses. And so that's how he found this group that he just enrolled, is his P&C agency. And, it's just a great thing to be able to build that business together and work together, and people trust you automatically,
Yeah. It's cool because it's a higher contact rate. It's a higher, easier conversation, and there's probably a higher closing rate as well.
Absolutely. I think so.
Yeah. And probably better stickage relationship, better persistency, et cetera, et cetera. And probably more likely to refer others too.
Absolutely. What's key in those situations that we try to teach everybody is, if you can avoid just getting the name and phone number, what really works is if that agent will introduce you to that individual through a 3-way text or a 3-way email. That really makes it effective and works very well.
Introduce you through a 3-way text or 3-way email. Do introduce via 3-way text. What would that say? It's just a general example.
Oh, it's very basic, but they might just say to their client, "Hey, I know you were looking for some health insurance, and we partner with a firm, American Trustee, that offers health insurance and has many choices of companies, plans, and deductibles. I'd like to introduce you to William Allison or Thorne Allison. Here's their phone number." We like to get the number so we can just call them and not wait for them to call us. So that's one thing we do ask, is that they provide us the phone number, and later on we'll call them, or we'll ask them in the 3-way text, when's a good time to call you or contact you.
I love that. That's such a good tip for all the agents listening. Like, that's such it's so simple, man, but we ignore referrals so much. I don't know why we're so scared of them, but
even though I embrace technology, it's a great way to get the word out that, hey, I'm in the industry and this is what I do, but it doesn't replace the sales process. And I think that's where people confuse the two. We had an agent not too long ago that said, "Can't you put all this out on the internet and just sell the policies?" No, there are companies that do it. They're good at it. But the reason that these insurance companies pay commissions is because they want good agents who are professionals, that know how to represent a product, and they have a good personality, and they can bring that business to their company and keep it for a long time. And I think people just forget technology is there to help us advertise and for people to find us, but we still have to do our job, right?
Correct. That's exactly right. I want to mention a couple of things before we wrap up. You mentioned earlier how you were planting, your manager was, or somebody on your VP or whatever, was planting seeds about the other manager being ahead of you, and even put a picture of him and gave it to you with the award, and you even put it in your car, and you were getting exposed to the idea and what you were shooting for, and it made it more competitive and more of a game. How important is it for agents to do that to help their belief in what's happening and what's possible?
Oh, I think it's crucial. Whatever their goal is, I think it needs to be front and center, and it needs to be something that they really, really want. I mean, we're not in a 9 to 5 industry, folks. I mean, we're just not. I mean, I've spent weekends, nights, mornings. I typically get up at 5 a.m. and start my day with, emails or, whatever project I'm working on, and nights. And I spend a lot of time on weekends, doing things. So we're just not a 9 to 5 industry, but
that's right.
That's how you get ahead in this world, I believe, is work hard, and you can build a heck of a business and a great book of business. And to me, that's just really important to know what you want.
Yes.
Did you get in this industry just to make some money, or is it something that you really, really want? Because when you get to like where I'm at in my age, going out and looking for work or whatever is, it's not something people do in their 50s, right? So you want to build your business, and you want to have a passion for it, and you want to believe in what you're doing, and believing in what you're doing, and that you're truly helping people is really, really important.
Yes. Yes, it is. What have we not mentioned or talked about that you would like to close us out with as you leave us with some inspirational words of wisdom from William Allison?
There's a thing in our industry we call the shiny object syndrome. I've been guilty of this, folks. We sell a product and we're doing okay, and then things slow down, and we tend to gravitate and look at other things because things are slow. Don't get caught up in that too much. Nothing wrong with adding a product to your portfolio, but I would really think it through, because I know people, and I've been guilty of this, is that we sell for a while and we do okay, and then when things slow down, we think we need to grab some other products and things, and before we know it, we've got this portfolio of all these products, and we don't really know how to sell any of them very well. If somebody asks about it, we've got it, and we can write a product, but that makes you very average, okay? And it will keep you very average in the way of production and income. What you really want to do, in my opinion, and I didn't learn this the first few years I was in the industry, but focusing and becoming a specialist, to me, is crucial. We've got agents cranking out millions of dollars of premium each year because they are very good at what they do. They're very efficient at it. And when someone asks a question, they've got the answer. They don't even have to think about it. When you work at that level, you'll produce a lot, and you'll reach the goals financially that you want to reach.
Completely. Yes, that is so good. This has been such a fun episode, man. If they want to reach out to you, learn more, they need help with referrals, email marketing, et cetera, how would they do that?
Our phone number here at American Trustee is 1-800-958-8199. You can Google American Trustee. You can find our phone number on our website. It's americantrusteeinc.com. My email address is william.allison with 2 L's, ALLISON, at americantrusteeinc.com.
Boom. I love it. 1-800-958-8199, americantrusteeinc.com, and william.allison at americantrusteeinc.com. Dude, you did phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing all of the wisdom with our agents today. And I appreciate you sharing your time and wisdom with everyone on the Power Player podcast. Thank you for being on.
Thank you. Take care. Have a great day.
Yes, love it. Okay, thank you guys for listening. Go follow William. He's doing some amazing things. You're going to keep seeing us do more stuff together because the dude's got so much experience at helping you. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there. Okay, as you guys are jumping in, I'm going to throw out some big claims, man. This dude did like $330K his first year. He protected like 458 families. He's got an agency now that'll do millions in premium. Like the dude's